Shiloh High School. I give all the praise and shout out to that coaching staff, especially Coach Kim Rivers. I really did believe in myself coming in as a freshman. I really had no confidence. I'm playing behind 10 seniors. I'm just trying to figure it out. But, he will always just in front of everybody be like, that kid's going to be a pro. That kid's going to be a pro. Me, I'm 14 years old. I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? I don't even know if I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So he just always had that confidence in me. He saw something in me that I really didn't see.
Welcome to the Zen Game Podcast. I am Tommy Morris. Pleased to be joined by some Georgia Tech athletes today. Tylis, I'll let you introduce yourself. What sport, what position, and where are you from?
Tylis Jordan, men's basketball for Georgia Tech. From Millersville, Georgia.
And it's your first semester on campus. So how have you enjoyed it so far? And what has the experience been like so far at Georgia Tech?
First month has been really good for me. Obviously, being back home, kind of familiar with the area. So kind of being that guy for my teammates right now of what to do, where to eat. So it's been really fun for me.
What's been the number one suggestion for people not from the Atlanta area that you've told them they have to do?
I told them they got to try some lemon pepper wings, of course.
I mean, again, sort of unique situation. You left home and you came back. What are the pros and cons of being away and being home? What is so far have you liked or not liked about being home? And what did you like or not like about being further away?
Right now, I don't have any cons about being home. I feel like it's a lot of pros to it, obviously being close. You can save a lot of money for food. Mom can make a few meals throughout the week. And obviously just knowing your area and knowing the people around you outside of your teammates and coaching staff and all that. So it's been a lot of pros for that. Being away, I think pros for being away is kind of learning and growing up on your own, really. Just seeing the world and navigate through things by yourself. I feel like that was really important. And I feel like it did help me. So.
Yeah, so I guess mom's pantry budget has had to go up because you're going home and rating it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, definitely had to go up a little bit.
Well, we're going to start at the beginning of your basketball journey. So when did you first fall in love with the game, and when did you first realize that you could take it somewhere?
I first started playing basketball. I was 7 years old. I was just trying different sports, so I started football and basketball at the same time. And so I was really bad at it. Like rec league, I was terrible. But I mean, for some reason, I wanted to get better at it. And I was working, and then I kind of started falling in love with the process and kind of enjoy, realizing that I was getting better at it. So I think that kind of kept me going, realizing I was actually getting good at it. And I feel like from there on, I just stuck with it.
Did you have a family member or a coach who was the one who encouraged you? Because like you said, you got off to somewhat of a slow start, but there was obviously somebody who saw some potential in you.
Not really, to be honest. So being the only child, I was just trying different sports. My mom wanted me to, interact. So, I started playing t-ball before anything. So she was just putting me in sports just to interact with other kids since obviously I didn't have any like brothers or sisters in the house with me. So I feel like it just happened of her just trying to get me to not be so isolated. And then it just took off from there.
And I would assume, sometime in your high school career, you noticed this is probably a Division I possible move for you. I know you went to a couple high schools. So initially you started at Shiloh. What was that experience like? And when did you gain the confidence to know that you could play with pretty much anyone in the state?
That was a really good experience for me at Shiloh High School. I give all the praise and shout out to that coaching staff, especially Coach Kim Rivers. I really did believe in myself coming in as a freshman. I really had no confidence. I'm playing behind 10 seniors. I'm just trying to figure it out. But, he will always just in front of everybody be like, that kid's going to be a pro. That kid's going to be a pro. Me, I'm 14 years old. I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? I don't even know if I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So he just always had that confidence in me. He saw something in me that I really didn't see. So, after my freshman year, I really just worked my butt off in the summer just to see where I could go with it. I was like, people are starting to say this. Let's see what I can really tap into. So I worked my butt off going into my sophomore year, and that summer was just it was really beneficial. It was a great summer for me.
So as a non-tall guy myself, I can't really sympathize, but you're 6'9", I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
So I assume part of that whole process between freshman and sophomore year is just learning how to be tall, if that makes any sense, and getting kind of the awkwardness out. For other kids who are going to be in a similar situation with you, where they hit a crazy growth spurt and all of a sudden their arms are all the way out here and they're standing way tall, they don't fit in their chair anymore. What were some of the things that helped you kind of get more comfortable in your giant body?
Um, it was crazy. I feel like just being that random growth spurt, I feel like my coordination was always right. Like I said, I started my freshman year, I was like 6'3", and I ended freshman year 6'6". So I feel like playing guard a lot kind of like helped me keep my coordination. I feel like that's why I would move very fluently at my size now, because I wasn't always just big and tall. But it was a weird transition for sure. Just learning how to play wing, forward, everywhere. So honestly, it was just crazy how I just randomly grew.
And for it, I mean, I think there was a huge advantage of having that happen because you probably grew up thinking you'd be a point guard, and then all of a sudden now you're one of the taller kids on the team. So how do you mentally change your mindset from being, okay, I'm a guard, to now I'm a 3, maybe I'm a 4, and maybe I be a 5? Like, how does that sort of all change as you grew from being 6'3" to 6'9"?
Just now you kind of got to do a little bit of everything now. So just keeping your guard skills, but knowing like you gotta go get off the glass, you gotta go guard everybody, gotta go, weak side, gotta go clean it up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it just helped me become a way better all around player, and I feel like that really helped me.
So you make the move from Shiloh to Wheeler, kind of a different scenario. Wheeler, a bigger program with a bunch of kids that are going to play D1. So was that really sort of the first transition for you from, I mean, it's a pretty significant step up. And then how did being there sort of improve your game?
Being there improved my game. Obviously, like you said, just being around other good players that are going Division I. So I feel like that really shaped me for college because, again, you got to be surrounded by everybody on your team was one of the best players in their state, if not the best player in their state, best player in their region. So I feel like that just helped me prepare for the college game of just being surrounded by other really good players. But I don't think that process was hard for me, considering I played with a lot of those guys growing up when I was younger. So it was kind of just like a childhood moment. You can just reunite with the people you really started playing basketball with. So I think that was a really fun experience for me.
And then sort of the mindset has to change too, going back to that, because at Shiloh, you're kind of looked at as a guy. Wheeler, there's like 5 guys who are the guy, right? So what's it like having to sort of take a step back, be more of a team guy, a role player type player versus the guy whoever's relying to score 1 billion points?
That just comes with just knowing what the team needs, honestly, and kind of like you said, sacrificing and just putting your ego aside for the greater good of that team. Ultimately, we did win the championship, so it was more about like, this is not about me getting my individual accolades, and if I wanted to do that, I could have obviously stayed at Shiloh and just ran it up. But it was just learning more about myself, and like I said, preparing myself for college, because again, a lot of people don't come in being the guy, and I knew obviously wherever I went, I probably wasn't going to come in and go be the number one option. You have to play off somebody, you have to find a role. So I feel like that was really it's really important for my development as far as college basketball, just knowing what I could help a team at if my job is not to score the ball.
I think that is something a lot of high school kids struggle with when they get to college, because they feel like they do need to score 30 points a night, and it's not okay for them to only play maybe 10 minutes. So what advice would you give to someone who sort of struggles with that transition because they're just not used to it?
Find what your coach loves from players in your position and maximize that and do it at your best ability. You have to start with the small things. And my thing is, if you want to stay on the court, rebound the ball. You know what I'm saying? Everyone loves a great rebounder. So if you rebound the ball really well, they got to keep you on the court. Everything else will come.
Has there been a player that coaches have told you to point to look at their game? And or is there someone in the NBA that you model their game after? Who are sort of the influences for you?
Watching the NBA, I look at guys, obviously, like my stature, my frame, the Jabari Smiths of the world. Obviously, my favorite player is Kevin Durant. He's my basketball GOAT. So obviously, I look at him a lot. I was watching a lot of Jaden McDaniels late in the season. He really grew on me. So those are like key guys. Obviously, watching Giannis, just watching how he attacks downhill, get better hit my angles, how he attacks the angles. So I think that's really good for my development.
You mentioned Durant. I mean, he's got that little bit of a psycho bit to him when he steps on the court. Are you able to turn it on and off like that? Do you have that in you too?
No, I definitely do.
What's that feeling like in the zone? I know back in high school you had a 32-point game against Carrollton. What are those nights like where everything just seems to be working?
It's just like flow state, what people like to describe as flow state. Everything feel like it's clicking, adrenaline's pumping. everything's so slowed down for you. It almost feels like very easy for you. So it's just, you just get in that zone, and it's hard to come out of it. You just keep going with the flow.
So like we hit on earlier, obviously high school went very well for you, and then the recruiting process starts. Talk to people who might be older, who might not understand what today's athlete has to go through, because it's obviously very tempting to just go to the biggest money offer every single time, right? You guys are young, and it's a shiny thing that's kind of distracting you. But how hard is it to look at the bigger picture and try to find somewhere where maybe you fit, or maybe your longer term goals will exceed the short term, whether it be a bigger amount of money or whatever it is?
Yeah, I feel like you just, like you said, you have to know what your long-term goals are, and you have to be really realistic about what do you want to do in your basketball career and where your career is going as far as basketball. Like you said, the money can be very tempting, but is that really all you want to play for? Do you just want to, get your money in college and maybe go overseas, or just, maybe you don't want to do anything after college basketball. So I think it really depends on the path each person wants to go down as far as their basketball career. But I feel like you really have to sit there and start with, what do you want out of basketball?
And then for you, you started at Ole Miss. You redshirted last year, right? So you got to spend a year working on yourself and your game. Now we know one's seen you play in a year. What are some of the things that are going to be new that people can expect to see you do that you couldn't do a year ago?
Obviously, more physical, got way stronger from, what people probably seen me, a year ago, 2 years ago. And honestly, just becoming a way better rebounder. I know that was a thing I really wanted to work on. And I feel like, this first month with the team, I've really been putting a fingerprint on just being a really good rebounder for us. So I feel like those are two things that, everyone's going to see and be like, yeah, he definitely worked on that.
So you end up at Georgia Tech. You got Coach Cross is there. He comes from Troy. He's a pretty intense dude from what I've heard. I heard you guys are not allowed to take the elevators when you go back home and go to class. You got to take the stairs. So what were your first impressions of Coach Scott when you first met him during the recruiting process?
Honestly, I like Coach Cross. I feel like every good team has a coach that's really psycho about the game of basketball, and I feel like that's what you need. If your head coach isn't, obsessed and in love with basketball and winning, then I don't think you're gonna have a good team. So I like his just how he approaches every day, how he approaches the game of basketball. I love it, and I feel like it's rubbing off on the team right now.
So what's it like having to have somewhat of a tougher mindset, because you chose to come here, you wanted to be coached up real hard? What type of player does it take to go through a program like that?
You have to just take the coaching and not really get offended by how they come at you, and you have to know deep down they just want the best out of you, because ultimately it's about the team. So, the better they can make you, the better our team is going to be. So I feel like, you just take the coach and don't take it to heart, because at the end of the day, it's all love. They're not trying to harm you or anything. They're just trying to, become a really good basketball team. That's what we're all here to do. That's what we were brought in to do.
All right, we're going to end this thing with 10 rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. First one. If you were not playing basketball, what would you be doing?
I'd probably be a gamer, a Twitch streamer, one of them.
Then I'm going to skip to question number 8. What is your favorite video game, and how good are you at it?
Favorite video game, NBA 2K, and I'd say I'm really good at it.
So your avatar, whatever they call it, what outfit's he in?
He always got something fresh on, some J's. I like going with the baggy shorts. I usually go no shirt and I tat them up. That's how my drip be.
What player archetype do you go after?
I usually start with like a defender, and then as the year goes on, I venture out to a shooter, then obviously a big man that can stretch the floor, rebound.
All right, NBA player you'd want to play against, and NBA player you'd want on your team.
I want to play against Kevin Durant. Obviously, he's kind of like my basketball idol and my basketball GOAT. So that would be really cool for me. And player I want to play with, I would probably say LeBron, just so I could, gauge his knowledge and IQ of the game, because obviously that's helped him get so far, along with him being a freak athlete.
I mean, if he hangs on for a couple more years, you got a chance. We'll see.
We'll see. Never know.
All right, Tylis, appreciate it, man. Good luck of the season. We'll be watching, and maybe throw down another windmill this year, huh?
Thank you. Hey, let's do it.